Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And now, the terrific, the one, the only, Tom, the world poet.
I had a dream, and in that dream, every person had rights. I'm not talking cooperation, which is a legal fiction. We, the people, we know who we are. Arms, legs, eyes, liver, kidneys function. Occupy your world. Occupy right now. By being present, do you understand? No mass media can buy you. No currency can try you.
People united, yes.
People united, yes.
Citizens united, no.
Citizens united, no.
Today, 2 days before the 3-year anniversary of the United States Supreme Court decision on Citizens United and Federal Elections Commission, we Texans are rallying here at the state capitol in support of 2 concurrent resolutions before the 83rd session of the Texas Legislature. SCR 2 by Senator Rodney Ellis from Houston. HCR 21 by Representative Symphonia Thompson. We're urging Congress to overturn Citizens United by constitutional amendment to establish that the spending of money to influence elections shall not be construed as speech under the First Amendment. And make it clear that only natural persons are protected by constitutional rights.
Are corporations people?
No!
Hell no!
Hell no!
And about 3 years ago, the Supreme Court decided they were. And they've changed everything. And now what we're seeing is unlimited amounts of corporate money being spent, clearly in contrary to the spirit of the Constitution of the United States, but also the laws of the state of Texas. And for hundreds of years in the United States and over 100 years in Texas here, our forefathers and foremothers had enough good sense to keep corporate money out of politics because they knew what would happen. The corporations would rule. Now, we here in Texas have got a pretty good inkling of what that's like. When you look at the democracy, or what we call the democracy for sale we have here in Texas, where our corporate positions and our corporate power and our government power is being sold to the highest bidder. It's called the Perry administration. And we know that the impact of that on our politics. We're gathered here today on this perfect sunny day to begin a movement that's going to take this Capitol by storm and is going to create a new American revolution. We are not alone. All over the United States, people are gathering today, tomorrow, and on Monday to begin to take steps to overturn this decision. We're gathered here today to begin to develop the support necessary to pass SCR 2, HCR 21, and a new resolution you'll hear about in a few minutes, HCR 25, which would call for an amendment to the Constitution and actually call for a constitutional convention to overturn this bad Supreme Court ruling. And nothing in my mind could be more exciting than us having another constitutional convention to fix a lot of the problems that this Supreme Court has caused us. We can and should do that. Now, we're not alone. 11 states have passed those resolutions. 100 members of Congress have expressed their support for amending the Constitution.
We provided in that document that you, the people, may amend this Constitution, and you have done so 27 times. If someone says to you it cannot be done, direct them to the Constitution of the United States with the amendments and tell them why is it that has been amended 27 times since then if it cannot be done. It can be done. As I left Constitutional Hall that day on September the 17th, 1787, I was asked by a lady who was a friend of mine, Dr. Franklin, what have you given us, a monarchy or a republic? I replied, Madam, a republic if you can keep it. Now, here's my question to you, my fellow citizens. Can you keep it?
Yes.
Can you keep it?
Yes.
I said, can you keep it?
These people behind me don't think you're going to make your voice heard. They don't think that you're going to hold them accountable, and I guarantee you, from conversations they have told me, they don't believe that their job is at risk, because if it gets close, they're going to have a millionaire or a billionaire like Bob Kerrey or James Leininger write them a big fat check, and they'll be fine. And that's what we have to stop today. We all have to commit to stopping this now.
And we're standing in front of a building that 2 years ago cut $5.5 billion out of public education. Public education is the bedrock to our democracy. We live in a democracy that we hope values democratic principles, not capitalistic principles. I do not recall any history lesson saying anything to the nature of the corporations, for the corporations, and by the corporations.
These new laws, together with Citizens United, are part of a coordinated campaign to make sure that any advances made by us, the people, through hard-fought organizing, education, and yes, voting, will not threaten the entrenched interests who bought you too big to fail banks, ranchers with their land condemned for a pipeline for dirty oil from Canada, multi-billion-dollar corporations with $0 tax bills, and so-called environmental regulators who stay silent as gas drilling and dirty coal burning poison our water and our air and put toxins in our children's bodies. They have a nice little racket going. And Citizens United is the key to making sure that it is never threatened. We have another one, HCR 25, by my boss, Representative Burnham. We go a little harder. We actually we established that the state of Texas is officially calling for a constitutional convention, and under Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution, if 2/3 of the states echo this call, one will be convened to examine these issues.
What concern does the state and the state have with a bunch of people who want to remove their money from a corporate bank account that they have to be here infiltrating, monitoring us with their binoculars or sniper guns? What threat do we pose to the capitalist state when we're going to march and remove some money? I ask you guys, we were destroyed. We were infiltrated. We lost our power because the state took it from us. It took it from us, took it from our hands. You don't believe me? Look at the Gulfport 7. Our brother, Ronnie Garza, who's going to trial next month, who was framed for a state jail felony for blocking the Port of Houston, one of the most polluting industries in the state, in the most polluting state in the country, one of the most polluting industries in the world. Standing out there with some PVC pipes saying, no truck, you cannot pass. We had another brother, Eric Marcus, stay 7 months and longer in jail because APD set him up.
Since the Citizens United ruling, our belief in our government has only eroded more. Congress approval rating, according to a recent poll, is somewhere around 14%, up from its egregious rating a couple years ago of 9%. About 77% of the American people believe that money buys results in Congress. Congress is no longer seen as representing the will of the people, but representing the will of the moneyed interests. But the last century was defined by us as a nation and as a people coming together and accomplishing impossible things. We passed laws to break up and prevent monopolies. We made senators elected by the people. Women were granted the right to vote. For decades, we have grown increasingly apathetic and failed to live up to our duty as citizens to be the stewards of our republic. And as great it is that our state representatives have proposed these bills we are here today to support, we can't rely on the people in the building behind me to fix a corrupt system that they and their colleagues benefit from.
And whether you're concerned about agriculture, or civil rights, or criminal justice, or education, or the environment, or healthcare, or housing, or immigration, or infrastructure, or taxes, or all of the above, money in politics is connected to every major problem our state faces.
This has been a long-term problem, and it's the left and the right together that are saying it's time to end this policy. What we're asking you to do is to get active and to get after it, and we can make a difference. What it means is that every day, each one of you needs to do something to say it's time to pass these resolutions.
So if you want to seize this moment, this special time, when more people than ever are aware of the effect of big money in politics and are outraged about it and want to do something, you must act strongly, you must act decisively, and you must act now.
When we leave here today, the burden of change lies solely with us. We have to continue to create awareness of this issue and its remedy. We have to constantly contact our representatives to force them to address this issue. If we want a republic, we have to learn to participate in it.
Where does the power lie? With us, not with the state. So why are we using the tools of the state to fight the state? The corporations have passed law after law that allow them to give unlimited funds to campaigns. Yet we're here talking about how we can fight them with their tools. The power of the people is in the people. Don't use the tools of the state alone to fight back. Say it with me one more time. I am somebody. Power.
Think of all those who have gone before us. The Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's. Every person who ever stood up and say, occupy,